Let's react to the Week 11 College Football Playoff Select Committee's initial rankings, where we learned some things about what it seems that this boardroom full of suits thinks is important and things that it absolutely does not think is important. And I'm starting with the G6 over here, man. Like that, you got to feel some kind of way about this. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Did you expect for Ohio State to be the number one team in the country? If you did, let me know in the comments below. If you expected Indiana or A&M to be there, I'd like to hear that as well. But I actually want to start at the bottom of the top 25 and work my way up, just because we got some games that absolutely are going to get affected, and we learned some things about what this selection committee seems to value, as strength of record has not really come into it as a metric, but the ways in which they are trying to really remove the personal from this and just leave the eyes in this is interesting to watch. So at number 25, we've got Tennessee, the only 3-loss team in this ranking. I docked Tennessee because they don't have a single top 25 win, and all of their losses are to top 25 teams. This is one of the things that I really don't enjoy about this committee. I don't enjoy that this committee believes that you can have good losses, because I don't believe in good losses. I believe in, did you win, up until we can expand the playoff to 24 teams, in which case I think an 8-4 team could make it, but that's another topic altogether. Pitt coming in at number 24. Pitt's a good football team. It has every opportunity to play in the ACC championship game. It's got a great win against NC State, same NC State that knocked off Georgia Tech, and they look like they got absolutely shelled for it in these rankings. Number 23 is Washington, who has some games where they get to prove it along the way. The bad loss that they got on their record, Ohio State. Really, that's the one. That if you're going to circle something, go, I don't know about this 2-loss team, it'd be that. But maybe they can fight their way back into this, especially if Oregon slips up a little bit later on, which, or Washington could play a role in. Number 22, we got Missouri, who plays A&M on Saturday. That, spoiler, is the number 3 team in the country, and the AP, according to me, and according to the College Football Playoff Selection Committee. But if Missouri needs a signature win, if they're going to get one, now's the time. They've got the loss to Alabama, and they've got the loss to Vanderbilt, but they don't have any signature wins. This could do this, and this could really upset the college football playoff rankings and the college football playoff picture. At number 21, we got Michigan, whose losses are to USC and Oklahoma, 2 teams that are ranked in the top 25, 2 teams that we expect to be good, especially as USC knocked off Nebraska last week. Now we're looking at Iowa at number 20, which nobody had in the top 25. And frankly, I just don't see it until you see the number 2 team. It feels like this committee is valuing a quality loss more than it is any other win you might have, in which case I'm going, all right, at least Iowa has to prove it this weekend when they play Oregon. So we'll let this be for now, but that feels like a spot where you could put a Memphis or a North Texas or a James Madison. Hello. And then at number 19, we got SC. Again, they got the good win against Nebraska. They had a chance to prove it along the way. Miami's at 18 after taking that loss to Southern Methodist, and Louisville, they don't look like anything like a playoff team, and they probably won't be, let alone make the ACC championship game. Georgia Tech took its first loss to NC State. Feels like we're finally figuring out what this program might be or might not be about. We're also looking at Vanderbilt at number 16 after a loss again to Alabama and to Texas this weekend. Doesn't look like they're going to have a great opportunity to make the college football playoff unless some things happen in front of them, notably some things happen in Ole Miss or even Texas or even Oklahoma, which we'll talk about here in a bit. Louisville comes in at number 15, and I like this. It's 7-1. Jeff Brom's squad got an opportunity to make the ACC championship game and be the ACC champion. Couldn't make the college football playoff before teams like, Wisconsin, which is just a team that I decided to pick on at random. And then number 14, we got Virginia, who's, again, a 1-loss program, but feels a lot like Georgia Tech. They've had some really nail-biting wins, but they've got those wins, and now sitting pretty. 13, Utah. This is not where I expect them to be. Apparently, beating up on Colorado means something to the rest of y'all, because beating up on Colorado has felt like a really great win. Now, Utah is also, it's Utah. They're able to run the football, and they got, 2 outstanding wins back-to-back weeks, and that might be what's buoying them. And then we get to talk about the big boys, the final 12. But before we get to talking about the big boys in the final 12, I do want to take a moment to talk about our new presenting sponsor at Adapt and Respond. Take a listen. Getting some of the best acts in the world to come to Tulsa, Oklahoma and perform. As a matter of fact, I remember going to see Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band on a Tuesday night for $7 because, well, I don't know that they understood just where they were. Or I've seen Cat Williams at BOK, or I am fortunate to say that I got to see Garth Brooks at the BOK, and I've seen Jason Isbell several friggin' times at the BOK and at the Canes here locally. But I was kind of taken aback when I was asked, yo, what you think about that Billie Eilish? And not by the person that you might think, which I will get to. But it also gave me a great opportunity to talk about our new sponsor to Adapt and Respond, and that is SeatGeek. Whoa, almost knocked over my tripod there. So SeatGeek, which I'm going to use here, SeatGeek has over 35 million downloads, the number one rated ticketing app in the entire app store. And right, like, dude, one of the things I enjoy most is looking for things to go do and see, especially in and around college football. And while you might use it to go, say, see Ohio State, Michigan, or perhaps LSU and Oklahoma, I'm going to use it to make my goddaughters happy. So check this out right quick. If you use, your phone here and you open SeatGeek, I set it to Tulsa, Oklahoma because that's where I live, and I could go look at, say, Billie Eilish and see what the tickets are like and scroll through, see what the choices are for a Tuesday, November 11th. But you know what? I got way ahead of it because in this part of the, segment, I'd already done the ticketing and the tracking. So I could see I've already got tickets that are ready to go for my goddaughters and their mom to go see Billie Eilish at the BOK. And it'll be their first time to see it. They are big Billie fans. They're big Taylor Swift fans. And I like to make my goddaughters happy. So this is the kind of thing that I'm going to do. And I hope you will take advantage of this opportunity to do that as well. Every ticket has a buyer guarantee, so SeatGeek has your back there, which I really, really love. But the thing that you can do, and one of the reasons that I was excited to partner with SeatGeek in the month of November is you can use a code. I didn't use a code because I felt like this bad practice, but you can use a code if you download SeatGeek. Use ADAPT10, that's all caps, ADAPT10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. So perhaps you're looking for tickets to go see, again, Ohio State, Michigan, or LSU and Oklahoma. And that's 10% off any tickets, though. So if you're like me and your goddaughters could absolutely not care at all about college football, but care intensely about Billie Eilish, this works for you, right? So 10% off any tickets with the promo code ADAPT10. That is all caps, ADAPT10, all one word. It is in the description below, along with a link where you can download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Again, we're talking about ADAPT10 for 10% off of your tickets on SeatGeek. Yeah. So one of the things that I want to pick up with is this 12 conversation, right? Because we're going to get to see straight seeding for the first time in the college football playoff, mostly because Greg Sankey was whining like a baby about it. And okay, sure, you want to see Alabama in a spot where SMU was last year. This year, it feels like that can happen, and that's why these last 12 are so important. And at number 12, we got Oklahoma, who's got a really great win against Michigan as Michigan continues to do its part for the most part, standing up, being a top 25 opponent, and it's got a really good win against Tennessee team that remained in the top 25. What I find to be fascinating about this is the head-to-head seems to matter here, right? Texas is at number 11. Texas, who needed overtime to beat Kentucky, needed overtime to beat Mississippi State, but also was the only pro team in the sport so far to be able to hold Ohio State to a one-score game, and that feels important. 14-7 is how Ohio State won that game, and then Texas, the preseason number one team in the country, fell off the rails. We'll see how this holds up. Notre Dame at number 10, Oregon at number 9. I'm not that mad about this, although with you, they got the number 56 strength of schedule in the country. Their win against Penn State is garbage now because Penn State has lost 5 in a row. And we're talking about Oregon's having its best win against Northwestern, which is also the only team that's played with a winning record. They get a really solid second half, but they're going to have to go 11-1, not unlike one other SEC team to remain in this college football playoff. Texas Tech at number 8. They got a big game against number 7, BYU, this Saturday. BYU is undefeated. Feels like this was going to be for a spot in the conference championship. All they got to do is hold it together. BYU's got no losses. Texas Tech can't afford another loss. And then we're talking about 4 teams in the Big 12 that are ranked in the top 25. Will it get 1 or 2 teams in this year? is the question. Number 6, Ole Miss, kind of like Oregon. You need to finish strong. You need to go 11-1. You both need to do what Indiana did last year. Only lose to the good team, right? That's all you can ask for so far this season. And Georgia, number 5, is Georgia. That's what we're banking on here. As the season continues to go on, if they're still there at the end, it'll be fun, right? They won't play for an SEC championship, maybe, but we'll see. And then number 4, Alabama, who still has not taken a loss in conference play and doesn't look like taking one either. Could end up in the SEC championship game against number 3, Texas A&M, who's undefeated, 8-0 for the first time since 1994 and looking to make its first trip to the SEC championship game and win. Indiana at number 2, and then Ohio State at number 1. Again, the programs that have played them close get into the top 25, which I think is more telling than anything else in this entire ranking. By and large, this is a fine ranking. It's okay. But if you're a G5 or G6 program, you're going, you can't rank us, when it really leaves the committee with its own problem to solve, which is quite simple for them. They get to simply pick the conference champion they think is the best at the end to fill that spot, which could be a surprise to all of us as nobody's ranked. I think that's a subtle subterfuge. I think that's not going to be able to hold up long term because Memphis, South Florida, North Texas, even Navy and James Madison, maybe Southern Miss might be there. And we'll all be in to find out just who gets stomped out in that G6 spot in the 2025 first round of the playoffs.